Hey guys. Tonight we're not just watching the wild, we're becoming part of it. You wake up surrounded by a warmth so complete. It's almost womb-like, except you were never in a womb. You're inside a waxy chamber, blind, breathless, and absolutely soaked in slime. Your limbs feel soft and strange. Your mouth parts twitch before your eyes even open. What's that taste? Sweet, thick, slightly bitter. You're being fed something. No, drenched in it. Royal jelly. That's your breakfast, lunch and dinner. A superfood so potent it can turn any average larva into royalty. And guess what? You're not just any larva. You're the larva, the chosen one, the genetically identical clone who just got lucky with a spoonful of ambition from the nurse bees. So, before you get comfortable, take a moment to like the video and subscribe, but only if you genuinely enjoy what I do here. And hey, tell me your location and local time in the comments. I love seeing where you're tuning in from. Now, dim the lights, maybe turn on a fan for that soft background hum, and let's ease into tonight's journey together. Everything smells like warm wax, ripe sugar, and something sharp, almost metallic. You can't see it yet, but your senses are tuning to the hive. Thousands of sisters, buzzing and bustling, all serving you. Your body is still gooey and half-formed, but the worker bees are obsessed. They check your chamber every few minutes. They lick your face. They feed you constantly. No crumbs here, darling. This is haute cuisine, protein-rich, hormone-spiked royal jelly, made just for you. Regular larvae get it for 3 days. You, all day, every day. You don't know this yet, but you're already different. Your body is growing faster. Your ovaries are swelling like spring sap. A normal bee takes about 21 days to become an adult. You'll break out in just 16, because royalty doesn't wait. You're not alone in this royal treatment. There are others, sisters, raised in neighboring cells, slathered in the same glowing goo. But here's the twist. There can only be one queen, not two, not three, one. And you all know it. Not intellectually, of course. You're a baby bug, but your DNA screams it. You are born into a system that rewards beauty with battle, and survival with murder. You grow, your limbs harden, your eyes darken, the cell begins to feel cramped. You push, twist, bite. Finally the wax breaks, and you emerge into the chaotic hive, glittering and golden. Your first breath tastes like beeswax and pollen. Your wings are still wet. You take your first shaky step, then freeze. Another young queen stares you down. Same face, same size, same murderous intent. The workers watch from the shadows. Some begin cheering silently. No, not cheering, choosing. You're part of an ancient system where evolution wears a crown of violence. One theory suggests that the workers deliberately raise multiple queens to ensure the strongest emerges, but scientists still debate if this is nature's way of ensuring quality, or just a failsafe against a failed hatchling. You don't care about theories, you care about survival. You puff your thorax, arch your back, and emit a low pulsing buzz. This isn't just noise, it's a challenge, a queen's war cry. You are seconds away from turning this nursery into a royal wrestling ring, but not yet. First you must wait. The hive decides when the fighting begins. Still, here's a quirky tidbit. In some rare hives, the first emerging queen might hunt down her sisters before they even hatch, stinging them inside their sealed cells. No audience, no duel, just cold-blooded preemptive strikes. But your hive, it wants a show, and so do we. You don't remember lunging, but you must have, because now you're on top of her. Your stinger is flexed, curved under your body like a saber pulled tight by instinct. The other queen writhes beneath you, legs clawing at the wax floor, antenna flailing in desperate Morse code. The hum of the hive fades to a breathless silence. Even the workers stop moving, watching, judging. You strike. It's not like a wasp sting. You're not stabbing to escape. You're not threatening. This is surgical. A venom-laced dagger meant to end a dynasty before it begins. Your stinger plunges deep into her soft thorax, and with a twitch, she's still. Your first kill. And yes, you probably won't survive this life. Not in the way you're imagining now, but that moment, that sting, it seals your fate, and she's not the last. You wobble away from the body, wings fluttering in a blur. Another cell cracks open. Another queen emerges, glistening and smug. You barely get a breath before you're at it again, clashing, buzzing, stabbing. There's no ceremony, no jewels, no crown. Your coronation is written in blood. You win again. It's worth pausing here to marvel. Honeybees are genetically almost identical. You and your rival queens, virtually clones. The only real difference is in the diet. The royal jelly, yes, that same slimy miracle goo, is what switched on your queen genes and turned you from a sterile worker in waiting into a fertility goddess with murder in your compound eyes. Scientists are still debating just how royal jelly triggers this transformation. Is it the protein royal actin, or is it the timing of feeding, or even a lack of stress hormones? Nobody knows. You certainly don't. But you're the result, a living hypothesis with a stinger. Now that the others are dead, their bodies dragged unceremoniously away by quiet-faced workers, you stand alone, and the hive begins to move. They surround you, not with fear, but with reverence. Antennae stroke your sides. A ring of bees forms around your feet. You are now the de facto monarch. The deathmatch nursery is complete, and you have passed the test. But don't get too comfortable yet. This was only the audition. There's a strange heat coming from above. The hive quivers. Your wings thrum in response. Involuntarily, somewhere deep in your thorax, a second heartbeat starts to tap faster. You don't know what it means, but you soon will. The call of the open sky. But before we ascend, here's something curious. On freak scenarios where two queens survive the early battles and neither kills the other, the hive can enter a rare phase of co-queening, temporary, awkward, like two CEOs trying to manage one office, until one finally gets eliminated, or quietly disappears. But that's a glitch in the system. This hive likes things tidy, so here you are, exoskeleton gleaming, belly full of future eggs you haven't even laid yet, standing where your sisters fell. The air smells of wax, blood and ambition. A worker bumps into you gently, then another, then 10 more. They're nudging you, not toward the nursery, upward, outward. They're guiding you to the hive entrance. What, now? Yes, now. You've won the battle of birth, but to rule you have to prove yourself outside the hive, and no one told you you'd have to fly. You stumble forward, dazed, your legs still sticky from the nursery floor. The workers press around you like polite bouncers, nudging, guiding, blocking your path whenever you try to turn back. There's no royal escort, no velvet carpet, just a tunnel of bodies leading up, 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 toward the blinding light that seeps in through a slit in the hive wall. You blink, compound eyes, not quite ready for this level of brightness. The world outside the wax is overwhelming. Sky, wind, noise, gravity. You grip the wooden hive edge with your 6 legs and lean out cautiously. And then, whoosh, a gust nearly topples you. You grip tighter, legs trembling. The air smells nothing like the warm, musky hive. It's sharp, grassy, open, dangerous. A field stretches before you, green and golden and buzzing with strangers. Your wings twitch again. This is your coronation march. Sort of. Before you can become a queen in full, you have to complete the ritual nature baked into your biology, the nuptial flight. Think of it as royal speed, dating in the sky. Except every guy you meet dies immediately after hooking up with you. Charming. Your first takeoff is awkward. You buzz, stumble, and fall. The wind grabs your wings like a bully yanking a backpack strap, and suddenly you're airborne. You tilt, you spiral, you panic. But instincts kick in. Your muscles remember what your brain has never learned. You level out, and just like that, you're flying. High above the fields, other insects dart around like living missiles, but you fly with purpose. Something in your gut draws you to a very specific airspace, the drone congregation area. Yes, that's a real thing, a secret patch of sky where male bees, or drones, wait around all day like a lazy boy band, hoping one fangirl queen will finally show up. And here you come. You smell irresistible, Pheromones spill from your abdomen in invisible waves, a scent trail that screams, "I'm fertile, airborne, and ready to ruin some lives." The drones react like someone tossed pheromone perfume grenades into their cloud. They surge toward you. It's a frenzied rush. You bank left, 3 follow. You dip low, 5 more join. A dozen drones, all genetically predisposed to be terrible at survival and amazing at sex, close in, and now the real ritual begins. Each male mounts mid-air, delivers his sperm in a split second and dies instantly. Not out of chivalry, his genitalia explodes and stays lodged in you. The next drone rips it out and repeats the process, again and again. A queen mates with 10 to 20 drones, collecting all the sperm she'll ever use, storing it in a special organ called the spermatheca. Here's your mainstream fact. You can store over 100 million sperm in this internal library and use it selectively over the next few years. You are a one-woman sperm bank, built to produce a nation. And here's your quirky tidbit. Some drones chase queens from up to 7 kilometers away, drawn only by her scent. These guys have no survival instinct, no backup plan. Their entire biology says, smell queen, chase queen, explode for queen. Scientists are still debating what makes one drone succeed over another. Is it flight endurance, speed, random chance, or just whoever happens to be upwind at the right moment? By the time you return to the hive, your belly is swollen, your legs sore, your wings trembling. You land like a feathered brick. The workers greet you without fanfare, but their antennae twitch with approval. You've done it. You are now queen in fact, not just in title, and the hive gets to work. You're led inside like a seasoned monarch, down familiar tunnels, past the nursery, toward a special chamber. Workers clean you, feed you, stroke your antenna. No applause, no parade, just ritual. Soon the laying begins, but not just yet. You'll rest for the night, digest the sperm, calibrate your body, realign your pheromones. The sky has had its fun. Now it's time to rule the hive. The next morning, you wake in silence. But the hive isn't asleep. It never sleeps. Thousands of legs click and clack across wax floors. Wings shiver, antennae sweep. You lie still, but everything else moves with the intensity of a fever dream. A worker appears beside you, nudging your belly with her head. Another feeds you a syrupy blend of nectar and enzymes. And then, like a switch flicked inside your thorax, you feel it. The first contraction, not painful, but undeniable. Your abdomen pulses. A new life is coming. And then plop, your first egg. Smooth, white, smaller than a grain of rice, laid delicately in the bottom of a pristine cell. It begins. You lay another, and another. By the end of the hour, you've laid hundreds. In your prime, you'll hit 1,500 to 2,000 eggs per day. Yes, per day. Congratulations. You're now less monarch and more factory, but the workers are thrilled. They follow you in a tight circle, constantly cleaning, feeding, massaging. You are their fertility engine, their sacred task. You don't need to hunt, clean, or fight anymore. Your job is simple. Stay alive and lay. Here's your mainstream fact. You'll never leave this hive again unless something goes terribly wrong. One mating flight, one triumphant return, then lockdown. The hive becomes both your palace and your prison. Communication is now entirely pheromonal. You don't speak, you don't gesture, but your body releases dozens of chemical signals that travel like whispers through the hive. The queen mandibular pheromone is the most famous, your signature scent. It keeps worker ovaries turned off, suppresses rebellion, and helps the colony recognize your presence. It's royal perfume and propaganda in one. One theory suggests that over time, worker bees can read even subtle shifts in your pheromones and use that to determine whether you're still fit to rule. If you smell weak, old, or infertile, they'll notice. But for now, your scent is strong. You strut from one cell to the next, inspecting each with your antenna. Not just any cell will do. It must be spotless, shallow, perfect. You lay another egg. The workers follow, trailing behind like a moving throne room. A quirky detail, you can control whether you lay a male or female egg. Female eggs are fertilized, future workers or queens, males, unfertilized, just drones. You'll only lay those when the colony decides it's time to send out new suitors. And even then, the girls do all the real work. Let's be honest, the males are freeloaders. Speaking of which, in some hives, workers try to sneak in their own eggs when you're distracted. That's not just cheeky, it's treason. But don't worry, your loyal attendants sniff out these imposters and eat them cold. Meanwhile, your body changes. You become longer, fatter, your wings almost too small to lift you now. You no longer groom yourself. The workers do that. You don't eat on your own. They feed you mouth to mouth. Your legs grow clumsy. You stop moving with grace and start moving with gravity. You are an egg-laying machine, 24/7, powered by the devotion of thousands. But you aren't stupid. Somewhere inside that chitin shell is an awareness. Not human, not complex, but tuned like a radio to the health of the hive. You feel when things are going well. The hums are full, the combs are packed, the wax is warm. You know the hive thrives, and that means you've done your job. For now. The days blur together. You don't count them. Why would you? Time here doesn't tick, it buzzes. A continuous vibration of wings, footsteps and chemical signals. Each day is a mirror of the one before. Wake, eat, lay, shuffle, lay again. But you don't mind. Your body is made for this. Purpose-built, at your peak, you lay more than your own body weight in eggs every day. Imagine birthing over 1,000 tiny futures before breakfast. You are, quite literally, the mother of everyone around you. Every worker, every drone, every nurse bee, humming in your orbit, shares your DNA. And still, you never hold any of them. You don't raise your young, you don't tuck anyone in. You lay, and you leave. The workers sort out the rest. Feeding, capping, cleaning, deciding who becomes what. Your daughters will never hear your voice, but your scent guides them like scripture. Here's a mainstream fact. Worker bees, though sterile, are the true muscle of the hive. They forage, clean, defend, feed the young, ventilate the hive, produce wax, even fan the brood to keep them at exactly 35 degrees Celsius. A perfectly tuned microclimate of labor and loyalty. And the quirky bit. Each worker has a job based on her age. Newly hatched bees clean. A few days later, they nurse. Then they graduate to guarding. And finally foraging. The most dangerous role, often ending in death within just 3 weeks. It's like a fast-forward resume of your entire existence, ending with a risky commute through fields full of predators and pesticides. Meanwhile, you don't lift a leg. Your pheromones keep the hive organized like a living spreadsheet. The queen mandibular pheromone, QMP, doesn't just say, "I'm alive." It says, "Stop growing ovaries. Stay loyal. Keep building." It's mind control in scent form. Scientists are still debating the full reach of your chemical control. Some suggest it even affects how bees learn or remember. Others argue the hive operates semi-independently, and your influence wanes over time. What's clear is you are both prisoner and puppet master. When the hive grows too crowded, your workers decide something radical. They start preparing a new queen. Not yet, of course. But one day, it's always looming. A faint scent beneath your stronger one. A kind of hormonal clock ticking in the background. They'll raise her not because you failed, but because you succeeded too well. The hive is too full. Your greatness makes you replaceable. But let's not spiral. For now you rule, and the hive obeys. The combs thrum with life. The nurses tend to larvae with syrupy mouths. The guards line the entrance, headbutting unfamiliar bees who try to sneak in. Scouts bring back maps made of waggles and vibrations, decoding flowers like living GPS systems. You meanwhile, keep laying. Each egg you deposit is placed with care, tilted just right, centered, inspected. Your antennae sweep the cell before and after. It's not just production, it's ritual. And yes, you've got a palace. The queen's retinue of attendants never leaves your side. They feed you, groom you, shield you from the cold. But here's the thing, you don't sleep, not properly. You rest in cycles, little naps, a few seconds at a time. You don't dream. If you did, Maybe you dream of the sky you'll never fly again, of the drones who gave everything in midair, or maybe you dream of the moment when one of your daughters rises, when the workers choose her over you. Not tonight. Tonight, you are still queen, and the hive hums your name. You don't speak, but oh how you command. Every inch of your glossy golden body hums with chemical instructions. As you move, you leave behind invisible trails of scent, queen pheromones, that wrap the hive in structure and obedience. You don't bark orders or hold meetings. You don't scream when something's wrong. You ooze monarchy. With one waft of your scent, the hive knows. Stay calm, stay productive, stay loyal. The queen mandibular pheromone is your signature. But you've got more tools in your biochemical belt. There's the footprint pheromone, secreted from glands on your feet, marking combs and letting everyone know which cells you've claimed. And the Dufour's gland, that one helps distinguish your eggs from worker-laid fakes. Think of it like royal watermarking. Here's your mainstream fact. Bees use over 15 different pheromones to communicate, from alarm pheromones released when they're crushed, to Nasanov pheromones used to signal home. But yours are special. Yours are sacred. You're a walking chemical constitution. And here's the quirky twist. Your attendants don't just detect your pheromones, they redistribute them. When they lick and groom you, then mingle with other workers, they carry your scent like perfumed messengers. You don't have to tour the whole hive, your scent does it for you. Still, your influence isn't infinite. Some corners of the hive fall quiet when you're not around. Pheromone levels drop, whispered instincts rise, workers begin to think strange thoughts. Thoughts like, what if I had ovaries too? They can't help it. Your pheromones suppress their reproductive ability, but only when they're strong enough. And when they fade, the walls crack. Scientists are still debating exactly how your pheromones switch off worker fertility. Some say it's a neural signal, others believe it's epigenetic, shifting gene expression like a biochemical dimmer switch. Either way, without your constant aroma, order phrase. That's why your entourage matters. Your royal court, always a dozen bees deep, stays close, dabbing your scent onto every wall and every sister they meet. It's a system of chemical compliance, elegant and invisible. But even with all your power, you're not immune to gossip. A strange vibration echoes from deeper in the hive. Not quite dancing, not quite buzzing. A low continuous hum known as piping. It's a sound only young virgin queens make. Still unhatched, still hidden in their waxy cells, but loud enough to make your antenna twitch. You pace more now, your attendants follow. You pass drones lounging in corners like golden bouncers, worthless now, until the next queen's flight. They don't work, they don't sting, they just eat and wait. You pass worker guards, antenna raised, wings half-cocked. Everything feels normal, but not. Piping again. That sound isn't just a birth announcement, it's a declaration of intent. Another queen is coming, and she's talking already. Here's the unsettling bit. In some hives, multiple virgins hatch at once and begin a high-stakes game of acoustic intimidation. They pipe, they listen, they locate each other, and eventually they fight. But you're not worried. Not yet. Your scent still reigns, your eggs still fill the combs, and the workers still feed you like a goddess. You press your antenna to the wax. It's warm, safe. Still, your throne doesn't have legs. It has wings. And it only lasts as long as your scent is stronger than your daughter's whisper. The nursery is full again. Every cell hums with life. Little white larvae curl like commas in their waxy cradles, each tended by nurses who never stop moving. They feed, clean, cap, and move on. Thousands of tiny rituals performed on your behalf. And yet, you don't know their names. You never will. But they're your daughters. All of them. You walk the comb like a weary general, laying one egg per step, antenna tapping, attendants, fussing over your every twitch. The air is dense with pheromones, yours, theirs, even the faint traces of something new, but you keep moving. It's what queens do. Here's your mainstream fact. A typical honeybee colony can swell to over 50,000 individuals during peak season. nearly all of them female. Sterile, hard-working, fiercely loyal, until they're not. As each egg hatches, it's the diet that determines its destiny. You don't choose who becomes what. That's the nurse's job. They feed most larvae a standard diet, pollen and diluted royal jelly. But a select few, they're bathed in pure royal jelly from birth to cocoon. That diet unlocks their queen potential. Same genetics, different treatment. Or one becomes a worker, one becomes a queen. It's both beautiful and deeply unsettling, isn't it? Your daughters could all be queens, if only they were fed better. Scientists still debate whether this caste differentiation is purely nutritional, or if social cues, pheromones, and even vibrations play a role. Some experiments suggest that larvae sense the hive's needs and choose their path. Others argue there's no free will at all, just programming. Either way, you're not part of the decision. You keep laying. Let the nurses play God. There's something else happening too. You feel it more than you see it. The hive's rhythm has shifted. Scouts are coming and going faster. Foragers return heavy with nectar. Wax production is up. It smells busy. And here comes the quirky bit. When the hive becomes too crowded, the workers don't just build more space. They prepare to split. A process called swarming. Half the colony will leave with the old queen. Yes, that means you. And the rest will stay behind with a freshly minted monarch. It's not just succession. It's survival by division, but not yet. For now you lay, you watch your daughters become nurses, guards, foragers. You feel their tiny lives pulse beneath your feet. You know when a cell is too cold by instinct. You sense the scent of pollen returning on a forager's legs. You feel pride, in your own odd, queenly way. Then it happens. A worker hesitates beside you, just for a second. She bows, feeds you, then walks away, without licking your body, without sharing your scent. That's not protocol. You stop, watch her mingle with the crowd. She waggles her abdomen, a signal. Others gather, none return. You feel something crack. Maybe it's nothing, a glitch, a tired bee, but you've lived long enough to know what this could mean. A daughter is rising. Somewhere in the hive, your replacement is being fed a destiny you can no longer prevent. But you can fight it. Not yet. But soon. The alarm doesn't ring. It vibrates. A deep tremor rolls through the comb beneath your feet, like thunder trapped in wax. Workers dash past you, antenna raised, wings half spread. The scent of fear sharpens the air, acrid, citrusy, unmistakable. Something has come to the hive. Something uninvited. You don't see it. You're not supposed to. You're hidden deep in the belly of the colony, flanked by loyal attendants. You haven't seen daylight since your maiden flight, and if things go well, you never will again. But the guards? They're seeing plenty. At the hive entrance, a wasp slices through a patrol of defenders. She's fast, brutal, built like a dagger with wings. Her mandibles snap, severing legs and wings with mechanical precision. She's here for larvae, for honey, for chaos. A worker screams, well, not screams, but she releases an alarm pheromone, a banana-scented signal that makes every guard bee swarm. It's chemical warfare, at its most elegant. Within seconds, dozens of defenders mob the intruder. They don't sting her immediately. No, first they ball her. Here's your mainstream fact. Honeybees can kill large intruders like hornets or wasps by surrounding them and vibrating their wing muscles to raise the temperature inside the ball, literally cooking the attacker to death. The bees survive the heat. The intruder doesn't. The hive rumbles with energy as the invader falls. The guards drag her twitching corpse away, leaving tiny body parts scattered near the entrance. A warning, like bones at the edge of a cave. And where are you? Exactly where you should be, surrounded by attendants, laying eggs as if nothing happened. The hive can't afford for you to panic. You are the living heart of this place, and hearts can't skip beats. Not here, but threats don't always come from the outside. Here comes your quirky tidbit. Sometimes, rival hives send in robber bees, spies who slip in pretending to be locals. They don't sting or kill, they steal honey, sip nectar, sabotage morale. If the guards aren't sharp enough to catch the scent difference, Entire colonies can starve while a neighbor feasts. You've even smelled one before. Briefly, she was caught and dragged out screaming. That time, the guards were quick. Still, it keeps happening. And now, an even bigger danger grows inside the nursery. Remember those queen cells, the extra large wax chambers being built along the lower edges of the comb? They're the size of peanuts, awkward and unmistakable. One of them is now sealed, which means a new queen is nearly ready to hatch. And you know what that means. She's going to want your throne. Scientists are still debating why bees build queen cells before a crisis hits. Is it overcrowding, waning pheromones, environmental triggers? Nobody's cracked the code, but the bees know when it's time. And once a new queen hatches, she'll begin her first job, murdering her unborn sisters, unless you get there first. So you start pacing faster, you move with purpose, you feel the threat rising, you sniff each cell, antenna twitching, your attendants tighten their circle, they can smell it too, your desperation, your fading dominance, and somewhere above, you hear it again, piping, a new voice, younger, sharper, your daughter, she's calling for blood. You hear the wax cracking before you see it. A queen cell, long and peanut-shaped, twitches near the bottom of the comb. A thin line splits down its tip. A single claw pokes through. The workers surrounding it step back, eerily still. No one helps her. No one hinders. This is not a birth. It's a summoning. She emerges slow, trembling, antenna flaring like war flags. Her exoskeleton is still soft, her movements clumsy, but a scent spills into the air like fresh paint. New, sharp, wrong. You freeze. Your daughters, your loyal guards notice. So does she. This is not a family reunion. This is a regicide in waiting. You march forward. Not gallant, not graceful. You've grown heavy, clumsy. Your body, once sleek and regal, is now bloated with years of egg-laying and the weight of expectation. But instinct overrides everything. You puff your thorax, extend your legs. Your stinger twitches beneath your abdomen. She mirrors you. And just like that, the dance begins. Here's your mainstream fact in nearly all honeybee colonies. Only one queen can survive. When multiple queens hatch, they hunt each other down until only one remains. Queens don't coexist. They clash. It's not personal, it's biological. You circle her. She buzzes once high and shrill. You lunge, but she's fast. You miss, stumble. Workers scurry aside, giving you room, but no support. This is a battle no one can interrupt. Not even your attendants. Not even your own children. She charges. Her stinger barely misses your thorax. The two of you grapple, legs clawing, mandibles clicking. Your pheromones clash in the air, making the comb smell like thunder and endings. A quirky twist. Some queens, especially in giant hives, don't fight immediately. Instead, they engage in a strange standoff, emitting specific piping calls to locate each other while workers watch. Like two boxers circling a ring, letting the crowd grow restless. But not you. Not tonight. You land a blow. Your stinger grazes her side. Enough to make her flinch. Enough to prove you've still got it. But she counters. Hooks your leg. Pulls. You fall. The comb shakes. One theory suggests that workers subtly choose which queen survives by helping or hindering during the duel. But no one can say for sure. Tonight, they just watch. You scramble up, wings fluttering in panic. The new queen buzzes again, but it sounds strained. You've wounded her. Maybe enough. Maybe not. You lunge again. Both of you crash against the wax. Legs tangle. Stingers flash. Then suddenly it's over. She lies still, panting, antenna twitching in slow defeat. You stand over her. Your breathing shallow. Workers begin to surround her. Some lick her body. Others begin to pull her away. You've won. Or have you? Because even as the defeated queen is removed, you smell something that tightens your gut. More piping. Another queen. And another. 3, 4. How many did they raise? Scientists are still trying to understand why some hives produce dozens of queens during swarming season. Insurance policy, evolutionary chaos, desperation. You don't have time to ponder. You limp back to your laying chambers. The victory was brief. The next challenger is already warming up. And your daughters, those wide-eyed, honey-slick nurses, aren't looking at you with the same reverence. One already turned her back. You don't get time to rest. No royal nap, no celebratory grooming. The hive smells, divided. You shuffle back to the brood comb, aching in places you didn't know bees had. The workers crowd around, but it's not like before. Some approach, some hang back, and some, well, they don't even acknowledge your presence. A silent betrayal, hidden beneath the hum. You know what that means. There's another queen. You're still bleeding from the last fight. Your wings tremble, not from exertion, but from the knowledge that the next one could be younger, faster, hungrier, and worse. The workers might prefer her. You pause beside a queen cell. It's sealed. Inside, another sister waits, growing, thinking, or more accurately, becoming. She doesn't know you, but she will recognize your scent and treat it like a challenge. You could destroy her now. You lean close, antenna brushing the wax, but a nurse bee bumps your leg, softly. It's subtle, deliberate, a warning. The workers aren't going to let you do it. Here's your mainstream fact. When a hive is preparing to swarm, the workers often protect the new queens from the reigning monarch. You're no longer the sacred mother. You're a liability. If you destroy the princesses, there's no backup plan. And bees love a backup plan. So you do what you were born to do. You lay eggs, but you keep one eye, figuratively, on the edges of the hive, where the next queen will soon emerge. You know how this works. You fought your way into power, stinger first. You survived your sisters, but in this moment, you realize you've become the obstacle. Here comes your quirky tidbit. If multiple new queens hatch around the same time, some hives erupt into full-scale royal warfare, where several queens battle until one remains. Others, the queens ignore each other completely, allowing the workers to decide through scent and favor who gets the throne. And scientists are still debating which factor tips the scale: pheromonal strength, aggression level, or worker manipulation. Some think the hive chooses its queen the way an audience picks a pop star. Others say it's pure survival of the stabbiest. Either way, you're trapped in a paradox, too powerful to ignore, too old to trust. You hear it before you see it. Another queen cell splits open. A new rival, wings still damp, legs uncertain, but eyes already sharp. She steps out. Workers clear the way. No hissing, no warnings. You stare at her. She stares back. This time, you don't rush in. She doesn't either. A pause, a beat. Two queens in the same space, like matter and antimatter. She buzzes softly. A taunt, a greeting, or a declaration. You begin the slow circle again. Wings flared, legs wide. Your stinger aches. The last duel nearly broke you. This one might end you. But something shifts. A worker walks between you and her. Then another. Not pushing, just standing. A line, not for protection, for separation. They're making a choice. The hive is splitting its loyalties. One theory suggests that in the final moments of a reign, some queens are spared execution, not by mercy, but because the colony intends to swarm. They let the old queen live long enough to leave, taking half the hive with her. Forced retirement, bee style. Is that what this is? Are you being offered exile? The young queen turns away, doesn't fight. She walks into the nursery and begins to inspect cells. Workers flock to her, lick her, feed her. Already she's laying the scent of sovereignty. And you're still here, but your reign just ended. Your throne is still warm, but your crown has cooled. The young queen now roams parts of the hive you once ruled exclusively. She moves with that irritating bounce only the newly empowered possess. Fresh wings, firm legs, no memory of pain. Her pheromones haven't peaked yet, but the workers already buzz when she walks by. You notice some of your former attendants split their time. A lick for you, a bow for her. You still lay eggs, hundreds each day. It's not out of defiance, It's all you know how to do. You've never foraged, never flown since your nuptial frenzy. You've never fed a larva. You've never left. So you lay, and lay, and lay. Every cell you fill is a small rebellion. A message, I still matter. But your body says otherwise. Your pace has slowed. Your steps wobble slightly now. You lean into your attendants more. They feed you, yes, but not as often. The wax beneath you feels colder, or maybe that's your imagination. Here's your mainstream fact: queen bees can live for 3 to 5 years, far longer than any worker or drone. But their peak productivity fades after year 2. The hive always knows. And now for the quirky tidbit: as you age, the quality of your eggs may drop. Some hatch slower, some don't hatch at all. Workers can detect this by smell, by vibration, or maybe some mechanism scientists still haven't pinned down. But once they do, they shift priorities. Loyalty isn't eternal, not in a hive. You try to release your signature pheromones, but something's off. They're weaker, less potent. The workers still touch you, yes, but they no longer seek you. There's a difference between being adored and being tolerated. Still, no one has attacked. Yet, you pass a group of foragers waggle dancing on the comb, announcing a patch of wildflowers 3 fields away. You used to command their path indirectly, through scent and cycle. Now they ignore you. They've begun syncing with her pheromones. Another worker bumps into you too hard. Doesn't apologize. You blink slowly. Even your senses are dulling. And this, the egg-laying grind, feels heavier, like each egg comes with a little piece of your youth. You try to move cell to cell as before, but halfway through the pattern, you stop, breathe, then continue. Scientists are still debating whether the decline in a queen's productivity is hormonal, environmental, or a combination of both. Maybe it's just biology, maybe the workers engineer it. But there's one more thing creeping into the wax: silence. No one pipes anymore. No new queen songs. No battle cries. That phase has passed. You won your last duel. But the workers didn't want more violence. They wanted peace and plans. And now they have 2 queens. For now, a few brave workers still attend you loyally. They bring you droplets of honey, stroke your antenna gently, clean your fading scent off the walls. But even they are quieter, graver. Your world has shrunk to a small, slow loop: wake, feed, lay, rest. Sometimes you catch a glimpse of the young queen walking nearby, flanked by workers twice as attentive as yours. Her body is lean, her wings glossy. She doesn't look at you, doesn't need to. You already know. This story doesn't end in glory. It ends in stillness. It starts subtly. The nurses begin ignoring your calls. Your attendants take longer to arrive. Some stop grooming you altogether. Your wings feel dusty. Your abdomen sags. Your walk, once proud and rhythmic, is now a weary shuffle across wax that used to gleam for you. You're still laying, but fewer eggs now. Some of the cells you fill stay empty. Others are cleaned and reused. Your contribution discarded before it can become anything. The hive is speaking, but not in words, in absence. Here's your mainstream fact: when a queen's pheromones weaken and her egg-laying falters, the colony considers her past usefulness irrelevant. No retirement party, no Queen Emeritus title, just a slow, systematic withdrawal of support. You don't need an interpreter to know what's happening. The signs are clear. The hive doesn't push you out all at once. That would be inefficient. No, this is gradual, humane, in a chilling insect sort of way, like a light dimming, like warmth receding from your body before you feel cold. And then the whispers begin. No, not whispers. Scent trails, vibrational shifts, a certain way a guard turns her back, a peculiar stillness when you pass a cluster of workers. Fewer nurses, less food, less everything. Your quirky tidbit: in some cases, old queens are allowed to wander the hive until they die naturally, ignored, invisible, a ghost in her own kingdom. In others, a mercy killing is performed. Quiet, quick. A few bees swarm her. One sting, maybe two. Then she's still. The comb doesn't miss a beat. You're not sure which fate awaits you. What you do know is that the young queen is laying now. Her pheromones are thick and assertive. You can smell her even when she's not near. Workers groom her with zeal. Some you used to know, some who once fed you. You make one last pass across the brood cells. A few nurses pause to let you lay, but their heads turn as soon as the deed is done, as if your eggs are already obsolete. You try to rest, but sleep doesn't come. There's a deeper unease moving through the hive now. Not panic, not urgency, just alignment, as though everyone agreed to something you weren't invited to vote on. Scientists still debate whether worker bees plan these transitions consciously, or if it's pure chemical feedback. But either way, it's happening. Your pheromones no longer dominate. Your presence no longer matters. And then, one morning, if you can even call it morning in this timeless place, your food doesn't arrive. You wait, patiently. For the first time in years you try to feed yourself, but you can't. You haven't done that since you were a larva. You forgot how. Your attendants don't return. Your muscles ache. You slump beside the brood chamber and lay one last egg. Small, crooked, almost delicate. Then you wait. A single worker approaches. She touches your antenna, once, lightly, then walks away. You're not banished. You're not executed. You're simply done. You don't remember the last time you laid an egg. You try again. Reflex, habit, defiance, but nothing comes. Your abdomen pulses weakly, empty, spent. You shift in place. Your legs are stiff. The wax feels foreign now, like sleeping on someone else's bed. The hive no longer reacts to you. You could collapse in the middle of the nursery, and no one would blink. A few workers brush past your face. No licks, no grooming. You're a moving shadow, a relic. Here's your mainstream fact. As a queen ages, and her fertility declines, the workers become more responsive to newer, stronger pheromones. Their loyalty isn't emotional, it's biological. When you lose your edge, they shift theirs. It's not betrayal, it's efficiency. You still smell yourself, faintly, but it's thin, ghostly. The queen scent that once commanded thousands is now a faded note in a larger symphony, one overtaken by your daughter, whose trail is everywhere now. Her scent clings to the brood, to the wax, to the air. The hive has a new rhythm, and you're not in time with it. Your quirky tidbit. In some hives, multiple generations of queens can overlap briefly, especially when food is abundant or climate is unstable, but it never lasts. Nature doesn't tolerate redundancy. One queen always fades. You no longer roam. Your world shrinks to a small patch of comb you can still cling to. The workers stopped bringing food days ago. You're light now, strangely light, like parts of you have evaporated. One theory suggests that pheromonal decline is sensed even before reproductive decline becomes critical. Almost like the colony predicts your downfall before it begins. Maybe that's what's happening now. You don't sleep, not really. You doze in short flickers, your body curling reflexively. You dream, perhaps. But if you do, it's of warm jelly and the hum of loyal wings, the buzzing cocoon of your youth. You remember the sky, barely, the way the wind grabbed you, the first drone's embrace, then the silence. One evening, a relative term here. Two workers approach, slowly, no guards, no fuss. They flank you like shadows. You don't resist. You're too tired. One taps your leg, the other nudges your thorax. It's not aggressive, it's not even rude. It's ritual. Then a third arrives. You're being moved, dragged gently, respectfully, but inevitably. You slide across the wax like a discarded robe. The path they take is unfamiliar. Down, away from the brood, away from the nursery, away from life. The hive no longer vibrates around you. You're passing through its quiet corners now, the hushed chambers where wax cools and foragers store what no one wants. You stop near a vent hole, where cool air rushes in. One worker climbs on top of you, another settles at your head. You close your eyes. you know what comes next. It happens without drama. No royal decree. No final procession. No death rattle beneath 1,000 wings. One moment, you're there, slumped beside a patch of unused wax, your legs curled in, your antenna twitching faintly. The next, you're still as cooled honey, still as the abandoned cells behind the nursery. They don't sting you. That would waste venom. They don't tear you apart. That would disrupt the flow of waxwork. No, your end is quiet. A final flicker of life carried out of sight by bees, with no grudge and no grief. Here's your mainstream fact. When a queen dies, or is killed, the workers often remove her body within minutes. No ceremony, just sanitation. A dead queen is a danger to the hive. She smells wrong. She feels wrong. She must go. And here comes your quirky tidbit. Sometimes workers chew off the legs or wings of a failing queen to keep her from moving while the colony prepares her successor. Not in malice. Just control. Just protocol. But you were spared that indignity. 2 workers lift you by the thorax. Another grabs a back leg. Your body is lighter than it's ever been, hollowed out from within. You don't weigh much more than an empty husk. They carry you past wax towers and capped brood, past glistening stores of honey you'll never taste again, past workers who don't turn their heads, past drones who don't even notice. The hive continues as if you were never part of it. They drop you near the hive entrance, just inside the threshold. One theory suggests that older queens are placed near the vent to keep their decaying scent from disturbing the brood. Another theory, it's just easier to toss you from here. Later, a forager returning from the fields will nudge your body out with her leg. Your form will tumble into the grass. There, ants will find you, or wind will take you, or perhaps the rain will soften your shell until it folds in on itself like paper. And inside the hive, nothing stops. Eggs are still being laid, but not by you. Wings still hum, but not for you. Your daughter reigns now. Her scent floods the nursery. Her pace is swift, her body firm. The workers kiss her face and follow her steps like you were never there. And maybe in a way, you weren't. You were never someone to them. You were something, a function, a role, a pulse in a living machine. And now that pulse has stopped. No one mourns. No one remembers. And yet, every cell she lays now carries your DNA. Every nurse that feeds the next generation does so with your blood in her veins. Your legacy is not remembered. It is lived. In that hum, in that honey, in the echo of wings, you are still here. Time doesn't stop when you die. In a hive, it accelerates. Within hours of your body's removal, your daughter's pheromones saturate the walls like fresh paint. The hive realigns without missing a beat. The workers reorganize. The guards forget your scent. The drones never knew it in the first place. You're replaced, fully and cleanly. The new queen glides through the brood chamber, inspecting your former empire. She lays her eggs with ease and precision, her attendants humming beside her like wind chimes. Her scent is thick and intoxicating. The hive buzzes with certainty again, but you're not erased. Not entirely. Here's your mainstream fact. Even after a queen dies, her genetics persist through her offspring. Every worker, every drone, every sting and waggle dance that follows carries you. Your genetic fingerprint is sealed into the very architecture of the hive. And here's a quirky twist. Sometimes in rare anomalies, your DNA survives not just in the colony, but in the very comb itself. Traces of royal jelly, wax chewed and rechewed, still hold the ghosts of queens long gone, queens who laid, queens who ruled, queens who died like you. One theory suggests that this is why bees react so violently when their hive is moved or disturbed. They're not just protecting the living, they're defending a memory, an instinctual echo of every queen who came before. You never knew the workers' names, they never knew yours, but your entire world, your life, your fights, your triumphs, your slow decline, was folded into the hum of something bigger than you. And now, you are part of that hum, even in silence. Outside, a breeze shakes the wildflowers. Inside, the hive remains warm, pulsing, alive. A worker caps a brood cell, another builds a fresh wall of wax. A third dances to show where the clover blooms. None pause to think of you, but they are you. Your scent may be gone, your shell discarded, your reign forgotten, and still, you became the hive. And now, let the hum fade, let the wax cool, let the tiny wings beat somewhere far from your thoughts. Your world is quiet now. No more eggs, no more piping queens, no more venomous dances. Just stillness, wax cooling under a soft breeze, the scent of nectar swirling in from faraway fields. The hive hums in the background, a lullaby stitched with memories you can no longer name. Each wing beat carries a piece of you. Every waggle dance ripples with your legacy, your rhythm. You rest, not on a throne, but in memory. You did what queens are born to do. You survived the nursery gauntlet. You flew the wedding sky. You mated, ruled, laid, and defended your place in a buzzing city of thousands. You weren't loved in the way humans mean it, but you were necessary, and in a world built entirely on function and instinct. That's the highest honor. Your daughters fly out into the sunlight. Your sons once soared and fell, and the queen you raised now lays her own line of destiny. Time folds over you like a soft wing. So close your eyes now. Let the waxy warmth fade into the distance. Let your legs uncoil. Let your hum dissolve into silence. You were a queen. You were the beginning and the end. And now, you are part of the quiet, part of the golden hum, part of everything.